Are you wondering how long it's going to take to train your dog using an electronic dog fence, such as an invisible fence? Then this video's for you. Hey folks, it's Adam with Outdoor Pet Solutions. Today, we're going to talk about the process that you should be going through to teach your dog their new limitations while using an electronic dog fence, such as an invisible fence. Now keep in mind, invisible fence or invisible fencing, those are registered trademark names owned by Radio Systems Corporation. They own Invisible Fence brand. So when you hear folks using that terminology, they could be referencing that exact product line, or they could be generically referring to this type of pet containment. Of course, we're not associated with Invisible Fence brand. We offer our own line of equipment. But regardless of what brand of dog fencing you decide to go with, you should be following a detailed step-by-step training program to teach your dog their new limitations. Because as I've stressed in previous videos, it's not the fence system that is going to keep your dog in the yard. It is the training. The fence system itself is just a tool that will help aid you in that process of teaching your dog not to leave the yard. A common question that I'll get is, how long does this process take? Well, as you probably suspect, it varies. Every dog is different. They learn at different paces. As with most of these training programs, the Gentle Approach training program that I teach and that I've developed over 20 years of working with different breed types and temperaments uses specific blocks of time for each step of the program. So for example, the first step in the training is to teach your dog to retreat from the boundary utilizing the audible tone that the collar delivers. Now that first step we have listed as a 2-day process where you'll work with your dog 10 to 15 minutes 3 times a day. Most dogs within that first 2 days will understand the concept that the tone that the collar is delivering means to back away or retreat from the fence line. However, not every dog is going to understand that concept within the first 2 days. So therefore, the most important takeaway from this video is to understand that you need to be watching for signs from your dog that they understand what you're teaching them before moving to the next step in the program. Some dogs may need an extra day or two. Within the Gentle Approach training program, I specify the signs that you need to be looking for from your dog before moving on to that next step. If you simply just go through the program and just work with your dog with the set allot time and they're not showing those signs that they understand and you move to the next step, you're setting yourself up for a lot of frustration down the road through the process. The next step of the program is distraction training, and we have that set up over a course of 5 days. And of course, during that 5-day period, you're going to be taking advantage of distractions that are outside the yard that your dog may be enticed to go after and deviate from that audible tone that they've been conditioned with. Therefore, they need a second sensation delivered from the collar to get their attention off that distraction, and you will work your way through that process during that 5-day period. Now, each one of those 5 days, we advise you to increase the level of the collar, 1 level each day, until they're showing signs that they understand and they're respecting those distractions outside the yard. Now, after 5 days, you could be on level 5 and your particular dog is still pushing the envelope. That's okay. That just means that you need to go another day, day 6, and go to level 6 on the collar. And you'll continue increasing those levels until your dog fully understands their boundaries and is respecting them consistently. So I'd like to take a moment and talk about the sensation delivered from the collar. A lot of these fence systems that you find online that you can purchase and install yourself, they'll come with a very limited number of stimulation levels. Plus, they're more than likely delivering what we call sharp stimulus. This is your traditional shock collar, and it's very painful, and although it will get your dog to stay clear of that fence line, it will also result in the dog maybe living on the porch because they're too afraid to venture out. Obviously, this is not the correct way to train your dog, and you should not be relying on an intense stimulation like that to teach your dog. Instead, you need a wide spectrum of stimulation. The OPS 1000 fence system that I install and offer on my website includes 30 levels of adjustability. This allows you to ease your dog through the training process and slowly amplify the collar on them until you reach what is called a working level. This working level is where your dog is consistently respecting the line and no longer interested in going after those distractions. And that is the proper and humane way to teach your dog their boundaries while easing them into the proper stimulation level. Now, the stimulation that is delivered by the OPS 1000 is unlike all the other fence systems. It does not use a shock collar. Instead, it uses blunt stimulus. This means it acts more like a TENS unit that a chiropractor would use on your back to contract your muscles. This is much easier on your dog through the training process, but also it can be amplified high enough to get even the biggest dog's attention. This results in your dog respecting their boundaries, but all the while staying happy to run the yard. Now, after those first 2 steps in the training program, teaching your dog to retreat and then taking advantage of the distractions and going through that step of the program, there are a few more steps along the way, but they're observation periods. Your dog should be off leash and you're just going to observe their behavior while those training flags are still in play, and then you'll slowly take them down. So the overall time frame from the point in which you start the training to when you're taking the last flags down out of your yard is about a month. But the hands-on training with your dog on leash is typically on average 7 to 10 days. But again, as I stressed in the beginning, it's all about your dog and their learning pace. If your dog needs an extra day or 2 throughout the process, please slow down and give your dog that opportunity. When they start understanding the concept that you're teaching them, it'll be like a switch was flipped. All of a sudden, bam, they're getting it every single time. And it's so rewarding to see that. Then you know you'll be ready to move on to the next step in the program. I hope this video was helpful to you in understanding the process a little bit and how long you can expect to be working with your dog throughout that fence training program. If you're in the market for an electronic dog fence, consider the OPS 1000. It's sold on my website and it's the exact same system that I install professionally for my customers here in Middle Tennessee. It's a truly commercial grade system, and if you'd like to see a side-by-side comparison on how that commercial grade system stacks up to the most common consumer grade systems on the market, be sure to check out this video here. I walk you through component by component comparing the two so you can see the difference. The kit includes my complete step-by-step installation guide that will walk you through exactly how to install the system like a professional. And most importantly, the Gentle Approach training program that will walk you through how to humanely train your dog to stay in your yard. I'll put a link down in the description to the product on my website, and all the pricing you see online includes ground shipping direct to you via UPS. And as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye.